107.5 WGCI, Tony Sco, The Morning Riot, in the building with my man, Chicago's own Lupe Fiasco. He's back. Food and Liquor 2 is coming soon. And my man decided to be really, really generous to the Lupe Fiasco fans. A double album, man. First of all, you decided to take it back to the essence with, you know, returning to the scene of the crime from your first album, Food and Liquor. Tell us why, man, and why so much music this time?
You know, you catch the Holy Ghost in the studio. You know, and for, you know, you got 40 songs and you want to use them all, you know, so it's, why not? You know, we're not gonna do it all at once. You know, the record label weren't ready for that. They weren't ready to do, you know, actual like a life after death or something like that. So we're gonna do the first one in September 25th.
Think about that. Was that like the last great double hip hop CD? Wow. Back to that. Wow, check it out. So yesterday, man, you released the single that we heard in the mix. Tell us a little bit about that. You used the T.R.O.Y sample from T.R.O.Y. They reminisce over you.
Yeah. That was my partner. I just got off the phone with him. Shout out to my man, Chill.
Chill.
You know, that was that was his idea. You know, like, yo, you know, because I dropped on a few times before on some freestyles or what have you, and he said he wanted to make like a cover. You know, like do something that was, you know, reminiscing back and literally reminiscing back, going to get an old school hip hop joint, bring it back. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the joint we landed on was to do Reminisce Over You Over.
Well, how do you feel that Pete Rock feel a certain type of way about it, man? Like he kind of like went in on Twitter, was like he was a little upset. Yeah, that you guys chose that beat. So how did that affect you?
That was a little unexpected, seeing as we already reached out to him.
Wow.
So you did reach out to him prior and let him know you were going to use the beat for the record.
To get his blessing and all that. You know.
Did you get it initially when you talked to him?
Yeah, we wouldn't have did it if we, you know.
Because you know, you seem like a brother that respects the game. That respects the game and wouldn't do that.
Let that song go out there like that.
Right. Because that was a big record.
They ain't finna let that go. That ain't, when you look at the bottom of that thing, it just don't say first 15 records. It say Warner Music.
And you're not going to go and take one of the most classic hip hop beats ever and then just do a record with it without getting the proper permission, because you know you're going to get come
especially because it's what it means to him and what it represents for him and how deep, you know, how personal the record is for him, and at the same time too with heavy deep passion and all that stuff. You know, we try to be as sensitive as possible with it and make sure that we represent it correctly, you know. But it's so many remakes of T.R.O.Y out there. That's what was surprising me, that it was like.
Have you reached out to him since his Twitter rant yesterday and tried to squash the situation?
The friends and family is dealing with that. You know, they the ones who put it together. You know, so I'm kind of like a third party in it. But the people who initially reached out to him from my camp to his camp, you know, I guess they was on the phone last night trying to figure out what was going on. It was a shock to me, and it was just best for me to kind of fall back and deal with it.
What's your creative and thought process, man, when working on music? Because you have such a wide range. We done heard you do hip hop. We done heard you chop and screw it. Got the Houston flavor. What's your thought process? Where do you go creatively to draw your inspiration for your music?
I always just try and be as I try and be as left as I can. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that I'm always doing something special. You know, I want to make, that's how I keep the attention and keep the focus and keep the
ears up.
Yeah, keep everything going, so I don't fall into the same trap or fall into that same, literally the same trap. You know, fall into that same vein as what everybody else doing. You get kind of caught up in the shuffle.
When does going left become weird? You know how some artists don't know that fine line, and they go too far left, and you be like, all right, man, you done lost me now. You done got so eclectic.
You used the word yarmulke and llama in the same rap.
I track with Yanni and Zamfir on the pan flute.
You know, I don't think that you can ever go too far left, as long as you can come back. What people realize, like for me, people felt
the new
like
Lupe featuring Yanni.
Yeah, people feel, but that would be dope.
That would be dope, because Yanni dope.
Zamfir and the pan flute and Lupe.
You always leave enough room for you to come back, you know, and you don't get a whole album of that. You know, people felt the ways about Lays. They're like, man, you going too commercial, going too this.
But I felt
but
Lays.
You still got some deep songs on that. Like, you still got joints that are quintessential Lupe records. You know? So as long as, if you any artist, and as long as you got your core and you know what that is, and people respect you for a particular sound, as long as you keep giving them that sound, and you leave yourself room to progress, and you let people know, like, I'm gonna progress. You know, I'm not just here to rap for you. You know, I'm here to rap for dudes over here too.
Right.
So, you know, I look at progression as something that everybody should do. You know, and
how hard is it for you to actually pick? Like you said, you sit in the studio, you got all of these records, you couldn't whittle it down to get a single album out. You decided to do a double. How hard is it to pick which records? Because I know, like, even with the Lasers joint, there was some joints that you probably wanted to replace on there, but you were going back and forth with the record label. So how hard is it to pick? And then who gets the final say? Like, okay, do you feel real strong about some records and go, yo, this got to be on here?
You let the records do that. You let the records speak to you, determine what it is, and then you figure, because it was a double album, we had a little bit more leeway to leave some, we didn't need to put all the strong records on this first one. We could be a little bit more experimental, put this one on there. We got room to do maybe 2 or 3 experimental, and everything else is like what you know me for, and leave the rest of it for the second album. With Lasers, it was, you had to acquiesce to the label, and the label kind of had the final, okay, we want this, we want this, we want that. So with this one, we kind of stood on it and was like, nah, that's why you hear this as the first single. That's why you hear Remake of Troy as the first single. You know what I'm saying? With
How does
all
that
of the
feel to be able to
content
stand on
and
that and then actually see it come to fruition, and they respected what you said?
I feel good. We went in there and said, this is something that you got to have that integrity. It's good to have a commercial side and go and try and get the big smash radio records with all the fluff and everything on top of it. But you still need something every now and again. Actually, you need it every time. You need something that has some soul and some depth to it. You know what I'm saying? That's strictly about substance and not more about the style. And they had to honor that.
I always respect how you move around in the music industry. Like you've always been that dude, like in the cut, but you still put out nice music, and you just move around by yourself. You never really hear about. Look at all this duet with Lupe. Like, you do your own thing. Like you guys like Dre. Andre 3000. You know what I'm saying? It's just y'all had that.
And you don't rush to put out music.
Yeah,
it's like you ain't putting out
you just
a
don't
new song
jump on everything.
Months.
Like you have some rappers out here and MCs out here right now. I won't say no names, but they jumping on. I didn't say that. I ain't saying that. I'm not saying that.
2 Chainz was on the record with the Pope.
Well, I got money to get.
But
I'm just saying, like they jump on everything, and like how do you avoid that trap? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if so-and-so call and so-and-so call, and the beat may even be high, and then this may be something that gets you in the clubs or whatever, but you just be like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on it.
It's some of these new guys I don't necessarily have that relationship with. With me, it has to be a certain level of authenticity to the relationship to even go in and do something. So
translations, they gotta be dope lyrically.
No. It's just that I don't know.
You just gotta feel.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's like
you gotta have some type of connection.
He on the radio, and we in the rap world, but that's because everybody rapping. I don't know the dude.
I know you've been probably keeping your ears to home. What do you feel about the new Chicago movement out there, man, with the young cats?
Drill music.
Chief Keef,
is that
drill
what it's called?
music. Yeah, it's called drill music.
Drill music.
Chief Keef, the King Louis. I mean, how you feel about the new movement?
Shout out to King Louis. He came out on a couple tour dates with us. Shout out to John. I got asked this before, and my thing is this. We live in a city that is, based on violence. The hoods in our city are really the hoods, and people get killed behind what they say. And you put negative energy out there, you're gonna get it back. And my concern is not, I appreciate, and I don't want to knock anybody hustle for what they're doing.
I feel you.
Because I came from the same places, and in my early part of my career, I was rapping about the same stuff. But right now, you got to be very careful about what you say, especially in this city, because you could say one small thing and it'll kick off a war, kick off a beef, something like that. Specifically in this city, and when your audience is the youth, your audience is the youth.
And you're
speaking to kids, and when you last summer you got 500 murders, and it ain't old people doing that; it's the youth doing that. So when you hear the music that the youth making, it kind of scares you a little bit. To see that that's what it is. But I'm hoping that, they can use their newfound fame and their newfound responsibility to, at the same time that they telling the stories that they want to tell, that they telling the stories that they need to tell, that the people need to hear, to understand the processes that go on behind the violence, and behind that, behind all that unnecessary things that go down in these hoods around here.
Real talk. Hey, I got to ask you.
Real growth and development.
I got to ask you.
No pun intended.
Right, no pun intended. You've always been.
I dig it though. I see the hustle everywhere. I can't knock it. It is what it is, but we got to be very careful in this city about what we say on these records.
You've always been outspoken yourself and not afraid to get in people's faces or on any issue on your records. Have you ever said something that you thought, like, later on, like, damn, you know what, I probably shouldn't have said that on record. I was feeling it at that time, but
George Bush does not like black people.
Right. Have you ever had that moment where you reflected back and said, damn, I probably shouldn't have put that one out there?
Not in the last like 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? It was more the stuff that I was doing when I was first coming up. You know, those kind of gangster rap records I was doing back in the day. But anything within like the last 5 or 6 years has been very calculated, and I meant it. You know, and I stand on it to this day, no matter what people say about it. You know, because it's real. It's the truth.
Lupe, like, you know, some of our black leaders like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, these guys are all getting old. Do you feel like you kind of like that next voice, that next voice for our people, you know, to talk about different things? Because like, unlike a lot of MCs and rappers, they don't stand up for a lot of stuff. Like you said, you stand on a lot of stuff. You say, who could you see if not yourself being that next person when racial injustice happens towards black folks to stand up and say something?
I don't know. It's not me. You know, I take myself out of the equation.
Okay.
In that sense, you know, I can help a couple persons that I know personally, but the whole people, you know, it's so many different forces and so many different. You know, Martin Luther King didn't have all the black people on his side when he was rocking. Malcolm X didn't have all the people on his side. You know, James Baldwin didn't have all the people. Al Sharpton didn't got all the people on his side. You know, it's hard to kind of unify the black experience and unify black folks in that sense. Just like it's hard to unify white folks. You know, everybody got their own different way of outlook on life.
We just saw that with NATO this weekend.
You saw that with Trayvon.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely. We were divided on both sides.
You know, it's a you know, we people at the end of the day. You know, at the black unity side of it goes so far, and then you start to hit that religious wall. You start to hit that class wall that separates us. You know, so within the
black community. So there's
a
lot of entities within being black.
Right. So you don't see any more champions of.
You don't have people.
Because I mean, with your music and stuff, you have a voice louder than a lot of other people.
Right. I think you're gonna have representatives of a particular clique. You know what I'm saying? And I think I speak for a certain piece of it, but I'm not, you know, I'm not doing it for the sake of trying to change or revolutionize the world. It's more, you know, why I got this moment in time. If I got a little advice to help you out, then so be it. But what I learned more so was you get beat up for giving the advice. You don't appreciate it till you either gone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like while you in the midst of it, you don't want to feel that. And I can almost feel it's the same thing that Martin went through, the same thing Malcolm X went through, the same thing Jesse Jackson go through, the same thing Al Sharpton go through. You feel like you on that soapbox preaching the truth and telling people what's good. And you know, people more so want to heckle you.
It be Al
the world star.
It be Al Hedo.
Lupe, tell us, man, when can we expect Food and Liquor 2 in stores so we can be ready, man?
Food and Liquor 2, September 25th. You know what I'm saying?
It's Al,
you know what I'm saying? Food and Liquor 2, Great American Rap Album Part 1, September 25th. You know, yeah, man.
All right, we in there, man. We'll definitely have it up here on the Morning Riot.
That, man.
It's my man Lupe Fiasco, Chicago. Keep on supporting them and look for that new album, Food and Liquor 2. Double album, September 25th.
That's going to be crazy.
Wow.
Yes, sir.